Man, how do you even start? That's a lot.
So this is the story of what happened after baby Henry was born. As we were just going through clips last night, trying to piece together different moments, it was so emotional. It's hard not to go back and watch these videos and just cry. Yeah, just seeing where we were at, I think the lowest point that we've ever faced. Just terrifying, honestly. Yeah. But then also seeing where we are right now and how God worked miracles and answered prayers. And yeah, we were just so touched by so many people during this time. So I'm just gonna like
take a moment.
Okay.
We wanted to make this video because we wanted to not forget. I don't think we could forget, but all the answered prayer and what God did, and just to celebrate what God's done. That was really, it's a lot.
Yes, it's a lot. Okay.
Should have brought tissues.
Yes. So after baby Henry was born, it was really hard labor, and I had some complications after his birth that were not life-threatening, but very painful. And the doctors were initially thinking I needed to have immediate surgery, but decided against it because they thought the risk was too great because I was on blood thinners already, and it was just really complicated. So I was in a whole lot of pain, and they ended up doing a nerve block, which really helped with that. But because of that, I wasn't able to go see Henry. So the bright spot in that first week was that the NICU and hospital made a way where they could take me up on a stretcher to see Henry, which was just the most emotional, sweetest time being with my baby.
Yeah. Because I can remember all the time she was just like, I'm missing the first weeks of my baby's life. That was such a hard thing for you.
Yeah, not having that bonding time and being able to nurse and, do all the skin to skin and everything that you anticipate with each baby. But that was a really hard week. But thankfully, I started getting better, and I was actually going to be discharged. So I was not able to walk very well or anything like that. But the pain level was significantly better. So I got discharged, and we actually went up to be with baby Henry in the NICU. And after not being on pain medicine, I think that probably masked that I had developed a UTI from having multiple catheters that really gave me a UTI, which I have not had, probably had one time in my life. So it was a new experience. But once the pain medicine wore off and we were in NICU, I spiked a fever and was in so much pain, really bad back pain. So in the middle of the night, so we had just been discharged at 7, and by the next morning we were already readmitted to the hospital. And
that's when things really started going downhill. That's when there was a lot of fear, like, okay, this is not just, postpartum issues that we're dealing with. This is actually a life-threatening infection, was what we basically were told.
It's kind of a blur looking back, but my fever got really high, and all the blood work came back really scary. So that's when the first time the doctor mentioned, we're worried that you might be going into septic shock. So they started pushing fluids and just tons of antibiotics.
Blood pressure was doing crazy things, and yeah.
And so I think originally I was on the postpartum floor just for a day, and then they transferred me to ICU.
Yeah. They were going to transfer you across the street, but they said, well, because you have Henry here and NICU upstairs, they said, we'll try to keep you in the same place. And so the doctors actually were coming from across the street, like all this, expert help and all this, the NICU team, the cardiologists, that started getting involved in all of this.
Yeah.
We're coming across the street to try to help.
And they couldn't get my fever down. It was just really high. I was miserable, so much pain. And then my dad, my mom, and my sister Tori came, which Tori had been there for the birth, went home when I was being discharged, and ended up flying back just a few days later. So I remember just bits and pieces because I was kind of in and out of it during that time. But
it was very emotional. She, because of her fever, because of the pain meds they were trying to give her too, and then all the other things they were pushing through. I mean, you were honestly sleeping half awake, half. I mean, just I don't even know where you were.
I do remember like times that I would be awake where I was just so sad I wasn't with my baby, because here he was in the NICU and I had seen him maybe a couple times, and it just was so heartbreaking. And then the fact, we're away from our kids who were just really so emotional about it all.
Yeah.
And during this time, I was just so thankful that different people really came in and helped out and watched the kids. And Lawson and Tiffany, my brother and sister-in-law, took them to SeaWorld, and my mom took them to the aquarium. And so many people just kind of stepped in there.
Our church, our pastor was there multiple times, just
bringing meals,
praying over Erin, and just trying to give us encouragement. And the whole church family just started a meal train, and it was just we felt a lot of love, but it was definitely. It was very dark. That was a really dark week.
I remember one night we were just so discouraged because it just felt like it was getting worse at times. And I think, was it Tori just turned on some worship music? Was that who turned it on? Mm-hmm. And I just remember we were just crying and just like praying and asking God just to step in and move when it seemed impossible. And it was just, it was really sweet looking back at those videos. But I'm so thankful that Tori, I think, took a few videos, and that, to me, like, I look back at that, and that was just like in the moment. You don't know what the outcome's going to be, but you're just trusting that God sees the bigger picture. Yeah. But now looking back on it after, we've walked through, it's just like, wow. It's so special, that we had each other and we were together, and it's just really sweet. So after being in the ICU for almost a week with septic shock, they were talking about discharging me possibly even the next day. I was starting to feel better.
You're walking around.
I was walking around.
You was excited because you were going to wash your hair.
Yes, I had not had a shower since the baby was born. And I remember thinking, I am so excited because I'm going to take a shower tonight and it's going to feel so good. And we were talking that morning and we realized the kids were having just a really hard time emotionally, being away from us so long. It'd almost been 2 weeks at this time. And they were just really having a hard time. And I said, Chad, why don't you go back and spend the afternoon with the kids and just let them know it's all going to be okay. We're going to be coming home soon, and just be able to connect with them because they had missed us so bad. So he went back to the house that afternoon, and
my dad, your dad also.
Yes. And so
we were on our way back.
Well, my sister Tori and my sister Alyssa were there with me, and his mom was in the NICU with baby Henry.
Yeah.
And the last thing I remember was the nurse coming in and saying, I think, you know, they monitor the numbers out there and everything. And she ran in and I saw the scared look in her eyes, and she's like, "Are you okay? Do you feel okay?" And I was like, "I'm really tired." I was like, I'm going to sleep. And she's like, "Don't go to sleep. Don't go to sleep." And so she like told Alyssa and Tori, keep her awake, keep her awake. And that was the last thing I remember.
Erin, open your eyes. Erin, open your eyes bigger.
And at that time, which you've kind of helped, and Tori's helped me remember what happened or tell me what happened during that time, but...
Yeah. I was driving, and I was in the middle of traffic on the interstate, and I get this call. I was headed to the hospital. Tori's like, "Chad," she's like, "stay on the phone." She said, "Erin's, I think something's wrong." And I could hear in the background doctors calling her name, saying, "Erin, Erin," really loud. I knew something was definitely not right. And here I come to a standstill in traffic, bumper to bumper. I'm like, I didn't know what else to do but to pray. And I called a good friend of mine. I said, "Mike," I said, I need you to pray with me." My dad was there. He's like, "Chad, it's not worth getting in a wreck," because I just was about to I wanted to fly to the hospital, but I was so helpless in that moment. And I'm just hearing all these things going on, and Tori's trying to give us the play-by-play and say, you know, there's these doctors are coming in, the ICU doctors, and there's more and more people showing up, and I just knew it was really bad. And we got there. They put her on oxygen, and we come to find out she's had a seizure, very long seizure, a very intense seizure. I think they said there was 4 people trying to hold her down. And that started the phase 3 of staying in the hospital and staying right there and trying to figure out what was wrong. She immediately put her on magnesium, so she was just out of it for a long time and unresponsive. When I came in, and I just remember seeing her there, and she's like we were ready to be discharged, go to ICU, and it was like so many different things flow through your mind, and just, you know, what if this, what if that? And all I could cling to was the goodness of God, the faithfulness of God, and prayer. And this was above us, above our ability, above the doctor's ability. They didn't know what was going on. I knew that so many other people were praying too. Yeah. They started running tests.
Yeah.
They said, well, we just got to figure out what it is. You know, initially off the top, they said, okay, it's called post-eclampsia, basically. It's a seizure you can apparently have after you have a baby up to 6 weeks, is what they were thinking. Her heart was doing some crazy stuff, so they got a cardiologist on board. They got a neurologist on board. The ICU docs were there. They had urologists. I mean, there was like this powwow of doctors for the next week that just went back and forth on trying to troubleshoot and figure out what was what and what was going on. And so a lot of, I mean, that was probably, you know, the next lowest point was, you know, prior to the sepsis, you know, getting out of that, life-threatening of all that, then this out of nowhere, this seizure, and then the slowly coming to. She started coming to and realizing, wow, I can barely function, like my eyes. And then she's like, I can't move my one leg. I've got feeling in it. I could wiggle my toes. And then the other ones are just very slow to respond. And so they started doing other testing, the EEG and the thing with the sock cap. And I think that was when we ended up calling the kids and doing a FaceTime, which looking back, I think it was maybe not the best idea, but we were just trying to connect with them and because it had been so long. But they were pretty nervous, and we tried to be positive about it.
Because she's getting better. Look at the baby. Can you see the baby?
I think one of the sweetest videos during this moment that I'm so thankful that someone captured was, I remember at one point I just felt so discouraged. I said, it's just getting worse. I'm just getting worse. And I even remember looking at Chad saying, Chad, you're going to be a widow with 7 children. And I'm not going to make it. Like, it's just getting worse. And I'm just going to die. And I remember my dad coming over. I think he had ran some milk up to baby Henry. And I was just crying. And my dad's like, you're going to make it. It was so sweet and so sentimental, you know, just a dad and his little girl. And looking back now, it just made me feel, you know, I was kind of set back in time just as a little girl with dad, you know, comforting you and telling you it's going to be okay. You're going to make it. You're going to be okay. It seems like you're not. It feels like you're not.
You are going to get better. You don't get discouraged. You're going to get better. You're already getting better. That seizure you had, that was so exhausting. You will be. You will be. Just gotta, once all the stuff wears off, be moving fine. You'll be okay. Huh? You're not getting worse. You're getting better. I'm watching you get better. You can talk to me today. You couldn't even talk to me yesterday. You couldn't even open your eyes. You couldn't even frown. You couldn't smile. You couldn't do nothing. Now you look at you talking. You're squeezing your hands. You're shocking your brain out. You can even open your one eye. And the other one's coming close. You're going to be fine. You're going to walk and talk and run just like you used to. Nobody's trying to fool you. We're not keeping anything from you. You know everything we know.
Erin, it's okay.
It's okay to cry, though.
It's
I would be
okay.
crying, too. It's very overwhelming and discouraging.
Erin, it's okay.
But be strong and have a good courage. And be not dismayed. I know, I would cry, too. And it's okay to cry. Cry to make you feel better. Cry it out. It's going to be all right. So sorry. Sorry you're hurting. Sorry. But you're getting better. You're going to be better. You're going to walk and run and play with your kids again.
You're going to be okay. And so that was so sweet. Then I remember you coming back and me being so emotional that I wanted to see my baby. I felt like I didn't know him. I had seen him just a few times, and I was just so sad. It's like my heart was aching to be with my little baby. And yeah, it had been so long since I had seen him.
Yeah, and unbeknownst to her, the nurses had already started coordinating getting Henry down from the NICU, out of NICU, to see her in the ICU. And it was about that time that she was just at a really low point. And shortly thereafter, I mean, within the hour, they wheeled in the little man.
I remember just thinking, this must be what heaven feels like. You know, when you want something so bad and you just like, you're just aching for it. And I remember just being with him again. It just felt like a little piece of heaven. That was so sweet. I think through this whole thing, there were so many nurses and so many doctors that really felt like family. I mean, they would come after their shifts to come see me and come bring gifts and flowers. And there were so many people that made such a big impact that I think we'll be friends with for the rest of our lives. I have so many of their numbers, and I text them, and, you know, they text me, and it's just been the sweetest thing after this whole experience. But after being there and having no function in my leg or my hip, really the only thing I could move was my toes. I could wiggle my toes, and it was really hard to move because it wasn't like you could lift your leg to be on crutches or anything. So I had to be in a wheelchair, or if I was on a walker, then my leg would kind of like drag behind me. So that created its own problems. But they ended up transferring me to another hospital and trying to find answers there.
Yeah, we went through one test after another, MRI, CT scans, spinal tap. I mean, it was just so many different things to figure out the cause of not the seizure, but the actual cause of the next problem was trying to figure out why our leg didn't work.
I remember just laying in the other hospital thinking, I just want to go home. And the next time the doctors came in, he's like, can I please go home? I don't care if I go in a wheelchair or if it doesn't function forever. I want to be home so bad.
And the whole time, Erin's been like, she's been pumping. So we've been literally delivering milk to the NICU.
Truth be told, Chad was pumping for me this
whole...
whole...
Well, that's a little too much TMI.
Well, I couldn't pump. So, I mean, that meant so much that, I was, able to give him milk even though I was non-functioning in my body. So that's just so sweet.
Yeah. But you pushed through all of that, and as long as your milk was safe and the doctors deemed it safe, then it was...
We dumped a lot too. I forgot about that.
You did. For all the stuff you were taking.
Which is kind of just like a little answer to prayer, is that I was like, I'm not going to be able to nurse my baby, and that's so bonding. An answer to prayer was that when he was finally discharged and he nursed just fine. So that was just kind of like a God wink. That's you're like, thank you, God. That, it might seem like something small and something insignificant, but to me, it was like, this is such a big deal. And
God gave us a peace, I believe, in the last week there that it was time to come home. The doctor like, well, we could do this or that. And it was just like, I don't know if there's much else that we can do. And they basically said, hey, we haven't found any life-threatening things at this point from the neuropathy or whatever it was in her leg. And they said, we think it's going to fix itself over time, or you're going to have to see somebody, or we don't know. We don't have an answer for you. And so that was even a whole step of just, wow, okay, well, this could be like this for a while. And because we don't really know the cause. And that's what they never traced down.
But it was so special because baby Henry got discharged the same day I did.
Worked out perfectly, yeah.
So Chad's loading me up in the car and running up to go get baby Henry. And
we went to one hospital, then went back to the other one and pick him up. And it was just, we were so happy.
Oh my goodness.
To be leaving. We're so happy to be home, then to see the kids.
Oh, there they are. Guys, what's going on?
We're just waiting for Mommy.
What's happening?
We're about to get to see Mommy and baby Henry.
I'm excited to see y'all.
Here, look what we got. A mommy and a baby. Thank you so much.
And I just, man, I think of this whole thing, and we were watching clips last night, kind of rehashing this. I was like, wow, I can't even remember some of these things because just so many sleepless nights. And, with that one little song, we were just randomly singing with the kids, this little light of mine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Don't let Satan it out. And through all of this, I got to witness and had a front row seat in watching a beautiful light shine so brightly, and that was Erin. So many doctors came in and was like, you're such a happy person in the midst of all this. And I said, if I was in her place, I would be a horrible, miserable, mean person.
No,
She has been so kind, gracious, and just thanking everyone for everything. They made them feel so special. And she left a lasting impact. And I think that God's used that. And I know He has. And it's something we can look back on and say, wow, I don't really want to go through that ever again. But the Lord has helped us through it. and has helped Erin, and she's been so strong, such a light, such a beautiful testimony, and we're just so grateful.
That's Henry.
That's Henry. I'm gonna grab him.
So coming home, I think it was a lot of mixed emotions. It was so wonderful to be back as a family, and I was just so thankful. But it was very hard, you know, not being able to do anything by myself. So like having to have help to go to the bathroom and help to get anything, and, you know, not being able to be a mom like normal was really hard. But, you know, the kids stepped in, you know, Mom, let me help you move your leg to help it keep from getting atrophy. Chad doing everything, you know, waiting on me hand and foot through the night, helping me take care of the baby. It was just like we came together as a family, even in the hard times, and different people that were bringing meals and, you know, writing notes. And it was just such a wonderful thing, you know, not just our own family helping so much, but, you know, God's family just really coming together to help us through this hard time. So I think after being home, I think it was around 3 weeks that my leg actually started functioning. And it was a slow process. And even today, you know, I can walk fine. I have full range of motion. I have just a slight limp that some say is not even noticeable. But I think hopefully that will maybe go back with time and therapy. And but I'm just so thankful looking back on our story to see how God really just worked a miracle. And for the people that made such a big investment in our life, thank you. We spent the past week writing hundreds and hundreds of thank you cards. And even then, I feel like it just barely touched how many people we're truly grateful for. So thank you for praying. Thank you for loving our family. Thank you for just being behind us when we're walking through a time like this. It meant so much to our family.